Hello, everybody, and we are officially here on Dream Big with Jana, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And today, in this special episode, we're doing something completely raw and unpolished and unedited. We're doing it for the first time, and let me explain what it's all about. So, we have the pleasure of having Scott Sargent on the show. Hi, Scott.
Hey.
And you've seen him for the last two episodes on the show. The first one was the interview, which was more informational. The second one was with experiential work on me. I was the guinea pig. And today we're doing it in a different format. We have uh, the pleasure and grace of having Heidi on the show. Heidi, hello. And not only Heidi, but her lovely doggie, who we have on the background. Her name is Shira. What is her name?
Shibi.
Shibi. So Shibi is going to be popping out in and out on the screen. But Heidi actually agreed to be on the show because what we want to create today, Scott, who is, let me give you a little bit of the background for those who are jumping in and watching this episode as your first episode about Scott and his work in the world. Scott is amazing. He is a peak performance coach, but he's also a former Olympian, former quadriplegic who walked out of the hospital with no hope in 6 weeks on his own legs. He's also a TEDx talk presenter, and we can talk the whole day about his accomplishments and how experienced he is as a coach and also as a healer. But instead, we want to experience his work today. And my invitation to you, it's a surprise breakthrough coaching session. So Heidi is going to bring her question or questions to Scott, and Scott will use his abilities to pick one or two, however it's going to come out. It's around business. It's all around business or personal life, bringing the Olympic or champion results into your life. So it's all about the breakthrough today. And as you're watching, I want to let you know, guys, there's no such thing when we are all connected. So as you're watching how Scott is doing it with Heidi, myself, and also you all are going to have your own breakthroughs through that amazing work. So with that said, I'm gonna stop talking and I'll give the mic to both of you. Take it away.
Right on. Hey, Heidi.
Hi, Scott.
So what can we do with you today?
Well, what's coming up for me right now is I'm trying to move forward with my business and create an online program. And in order to do that, I'm trying to create video modules. And I just can't seem to get the video modules done. Anytime I start to think about it or, go to do it, I just sort of get this paralyzing fear coming over me. And I just can't seem to shake it off. And I've tried some things, but it's just not working. And I kind of feel to give up. So I'm not really sure what to do with that right now.
Got it. All right, cool. So tell me a little bit more about what you want to do for your business and how many of these videos, or a little bit more about what you want to accomplish out of that.
Okay, so I'm making an online program, and I'm trying to make 5 modules. And in each module, supposedly there are going to be several small little videos, like about 5 minutes each. So maybe about 5 in the first one, because there's more information to give out at first. And then maybe less for the modules going forward. But I'm supposedly having this all done by April 20th.
Okay.
So the time is marching on.
Yep. Got it. So you got a little more than a week. And so far you haven't managed to start and record the videos. You want to do this, but you're just, have you turned on the camera yet even, or have you not even gotten to that point?
No, I did it with a friend on Zoom like this, and she
Mhm.
recorded me as me trying to talk, and I felt really awkward and uncomfortable, and I just wasn't in my body properly. I just didn't feel like I was owning my space. I just felt that sort of fear coming up
Sure.
in me.
Well, I think that's an awesome strategy that you came up with to do it with a friend. So you weren't just sitting on your own in that, but you know, you could actually begin to do that as a dialogue, right? Rather than you just talking and being in your own world. Um, the I'm not clear if you have the content mapped out. Do you know what you want to say for these? Do you have kind of an
Um,
outline, or have you written that out yet and talking the basic strategy elements? But
yeah, so I have a basic guideline. I know what type of things I want to say in each. It's a little different for me because I'm working with a body of angels, and I usually just sort of channel what they're saying coming through. And I don't have a problem. I have made videos before if I just sort of sit and get in the space and just sort of channel what they want to say. Somehow for me, because this is in a different format and it's kind of like it has to be really specific, and I kind of know that a lot of people are going to be seeing this because I've already sold the program, and that's making, I'm kind of like already anticipating them watching, judging me, and so I'm judging myself, so I'm kind of setting myself up for failure right already.
right, so you kind of got like a performance anxiety and want to make
Yeah.
sure you do it like win the gold medal on your first try,
Exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
consciously you understand that that's kind of an unfair expectation to put on yourself. And you know, whatever you do from your place of experience, you know, expertise, the connection you have and the wisdom that comes through you in your work is going to be a tremendous value from where your people are, right? You're at a much further developed place and you have a lot of experience and wisdom. So the first thing I try to encourage you to do is to relax and realize that you don't have to ace this. You don't have to do a perfect 10 out of 10. Like for you to do a reasonably good job is still going to provide great benefit to your people. Does that ring true for you or not?
It sounds really nice to hear, but my inner critic is still, really loud.
Yeah, got it. Well, it may be having a fun time today. So let's kind of move into that a little bit. So I think I heard you say earlier that you felt kind of paralyzed with fear when it came to making those videos.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, the more that we attend to the fear, the more we can feed it. But so let's not look at it so much head on, but let's try to look underneath it. Like if I asked you, what would you say that fear is about? Why would you say you're having that fear? And more so, why is it stopping you?
Okay. Well, this is a little bit dark. But as a child, I experienced a lot of forms of abuse. And one of them was against my will. I want to say, as a child and as a teenager, I was used in pornography. And so one of my sort of fears I have is I kind of have this vision of I'm out there in the world and someone comes up to me or posts or something here, oh, I found this photo of you and I know you, or I've seen you, and it's a photo from that time. And it just kind of makes me want to go and like disappear and hide in a hole. And I just feel really paralyzed, even though the probability of that happening is probably extremely nil. It's really present for me when I go to step out and do something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a really significant and really personal thing that I really appreciate your willingness to share, you know, with me and Jana here today. So I totally honor that. Yeah, that was, I feel that, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so on a level that, you know, when we look at things from mindset, so much of our experience and our effectiveness has to do with how we view things. And, you know, those events happened and they happened a long time ago and they're part of your history, but they don't have to give you who you are now or who you are in the future, right?
Okay.
So there, and my sense is, while your feeling of that, it is in the past, and this is just something that's surfacing because of that concern of what could, percolate or happen. But I want to invite you to consider, because I'm over here feeling some true excitement for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because in this process,
thank you.
You get to choose a place of courage to actually create yourself as an adult, the grown, powerful woman that you are now, and craft and design how you want to display yourself to the world. Literally through your voice, through your, presence, through your expression on a video medium. When, that thing that happened so long ago, you didn't have a choice about how that went, right?
Right.
And so now you get to claim fully your power as an adult woman and say, here's how I want to show up in the world. Here's what I'm really here for. Here's my message. Here's my truth. Does that give you any access, or how does that land for you?
It feels really empowering. It feels really good and strong.
Does it feel like that calls you forth rather than having you cringe back?
It does. It does. And it almost makes me feel like probably not a part of this program, but maybe what I need to do for my own self and my own healing is make a video of me talking about my truth. And just expressing what I expressed to you guys today, but just bringing it out. And I feel like that might be helpful for me.
Beautiful. Incredibly powerful. Seen my TEDx talk, right? I did my version of that very, very raw and vulnerably, but that talk title, "The Truth Will Set You Free," right? In some ways says it all. So I think that would be a profound, courageous and powerful thing for you to do, Heidi. And in that process, you'll be able to own it, and won't have its hold over you.
Oh, okay.
It may not disappear, but whenever that comes up, you won't have to be stuck in a place of that paralysis and fear. You'll be in a place of choice as a powerful adult woman that you are. Okay, how do I want to respond and show up in this situation, rather than immediately having to, retract into the fear of, when you were young and you couldn't control what was happening.
Yeah.
So what would it feel like for you on the other side of this to have maybe made that video, to tell that story, to have the healing and claim the power and the ownership of that? Yes, that's what happened, but it doesn't determine who I am now and what I'm here for and moving forward in the future. And not in any way like, dishonor, discredit. It's part of what brought you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicate territory, but you could even think of it as being valuable. Not that we would ever want to condone it or say, that it should happen or anything like that, right? But it actually developed you to be who you are now, to have the sensitivities and the awarenesses, the compassion and the strength to be able to be the conduit for those messages and to touch the people on earth, right? Because of your ability to connect with and relate with them through that vulnerability, through that humanity.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel for you?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but on a certain level, I get it. I've always felt that everything I've been through, just like everything everyone goes through, is for a real reason and a purpose. I just wasn't able to pinpoint all the actual reasons. You know, some of it seems like there isn't, but I get it in the bigger picture, sort of from spirit. I get it. It's just hard from the human point of view. It's hard to, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, gosh, I just want to acknowledge you and honor your courage to show up in this conversation and even have that dialogue here. And then to even consider making that video of your story and your experience, whether you would share that or not, like to just go right into that, to lean into that for whatever healing and harvesting can come out of that, right? And the freedom and the liberation and the power that you can claim out of that. I get it. You have a sense of that, and it's difficult.
You feel it. Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, but that's where so many of the greatest rewards are for us in life. They're outside of that comfort zone. And we either bump up against it and then we pull back to be safe and comfortable, which we know that intellectually neither of those things are true. Where we're at, we're not impervious and completely safe, and we're definitely not comfortable because we're human beings and we're alive.
Yeah.
And so might as well be a little bit uncomfortable moving into the expansion of what we want, you know, what we really see for ourselves and, you know, what we're here to contribute. But, you know, honoring that. So let's get, thanks, Donna.
I want to ask, maybe, I don't know, Scott, if it's going to be okay with you to get into the centralization. You're so good at that. I don't know if you feel this is a good.
Yeah, well, I'd love to actually kind of guide Heidi into that. So, you know, Heidi, if you imagine, whether you say anything about it or not, but you know, just in a quick minute, think about what you might say in that video, and it feels to me like it might be more powerful for you, right? Just to visualize it in your own mind's eye, but you know, not so much the mechanics, but kind of generally going through that process and making that video and telling that story and getting it out of your head, kind of like cleaning house, right? And now you're gonna put that out on the lawn and on the curb, and it's going to get taken away, right?
Okay.
Because now it's out. It's not now locked away in the closet. Like literally, it's like it's put out, and it's going to be, you know, recycled or carried away or turned into something else. And imagine that you've, you know, gone through that and done that, you know, in the most comfortable and safe way that you could. But it was probably hard. Some emotions came up, maybe even more than you expected. But on the other side of that, how would you imagine yourself feeling?
I imagine myself feeling really empowered and strong and less scared, because it's like, if I voice it, then it takes the power away from anyone else coming and voicing it. If I put it out there and say, well, this is what I went through and this is what I experienced, then it takes away eliminates that fear altogether. It feels like it will be gone. Which is kind of interesting, and I didn't realize that. So I have no idea. I mean, this was again, I'm you know, honored and really respect that you were willing to share that today. And so I see for you like the place of power, not just for yourself, but then for the people that you want to serve and contribute to, because of where you're speaking from. You know, you're talking about, you know, bringing message from angels. It's not like you're just talking from heaven where everything's golden light and wonderful and fluffy clouds. Right.
You know, you've been to the darker, you know, really difficult place, you know, so you know how to bring the light to those places and to the people that have those parts of themselves. It's a bit of the human condition, you know, everyone's got healing to do. And through your own healing work, you're able to even more powerfully help others heal with the messages, but also just the example, your energy, your beingness. Yeah. And it shows through in we've seen your your face changes and your expression a few times, and that light comes and that smile starts to come through in you. You know, it's really, really great to witness.
Thank you.
So the same, sorry, go ahead.
That it feels good.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I know that there's still some stuff with it, and it's going to continue to keep releasing and shedding away. So I want to invite you again to get excited and look at the opportunity this is for the profound healing for yourself. But then again, harvesting that experience in, you know, channeling or repurposing it into the power and the growth and the expansion of you, but you being able to contribute more of your message and your work to people.
Okay.
And again, you get to now be the author as an adult woman of how you're going to show up on screen, how you're going to be witnessed, how you're going to be seen, how you're going to be heard. Now you have the autonomy over that to create that, you know, intentionally, and to be courageous in doing that at all. Because, you know, public speaking is a big fear for a lot of people. So I don't want to, like, you know, feed the fear, but I want to acknowledge that, you know, like anything else, especially when you're just doing it for the first time, you're not going to be perfect. So to expect perfection, you know, would you expect a toddler to jump up and run the first time? No. You know, babies fall hundreds of times before they walk. But then we go through school and we learn, oh, it's not too cool to raise your hand and have the wrong answer. So then we stop wanting to fail at things because we're afraid to look bad and feel bad. But failure is one of the pathways to mastery.
How is that? Can you explain
succeed.
that more?
Huh?
Can you explain that more? How failure is a pathway to mastery?
Yeah. Anybody wants to succeed more than take on failing.
My mind just goes like.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So what was it? I think it was Michael Jordan. I'm not sure the quote's attributed to, says that you always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in other words, if you never make an attempt, can you ever win?
Right.
No. But do you expect that you're going to win or have a perfect result every time that you make an attempt?
And another way of saying that is like we learn to be uncomfortable, like in that uncomfort zone or zone of uncomfort, how to become comfortable so that we always operate on that, in that state, being uncomfortable. So it becomes like your permanent state. That's where the magic is happening. That's another way of looking at it. Yeah, so failing is very, you know, like it depends on how we look at it.
The strong word. It is a strong word.
But it's also, I think, in my opinion, it's also good to remember that we only fail to our ego. We only fail to our ego, but ego is not the only thing that we are. We also have a soul that doesn't care if we fail or if we win. So it's just a part of it.
Right. Well, what, you know, the only failure is failing to try.
Yeah.
You
know?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I think it was Winston Churchill said the definition of success is going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what Jana referenced, it's very rare that the circumstances in our world are going to perfectly match up with everything that our ego would like them to be. Right. Yeah. So there's that state of being uncomfortable. But if you know, what's that same definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Mm. So I'm not saying yay for failure. Let's just keep doing the same thing and not getting the result we want. No, but making an attempt, seeing what the results are, because you're getting a result. You may not get the result you want, but that's the opportunity for growth and learning is. You can learn much more actually out of failing, both about the logistics or the technique of the thing, right? Or your inner world. You learn something of a person's character, by how they win, but losing reveals all of it. All these quotes are now, coming to the forefront with this. But I think we're going on a tangent a little bit, and I want to bring it back to you, Heidi, with really, really empowering you to go for it with your best attempt, your best first shot at making these videos. Mm-hmm. And you have the outline now. We've identified a really, really big thing that was under the surface that just in the space of this conversation, you realize, oh my gosh, when I was a child, I was subjected to, being in pornography. I'm going to, reflect that back to you. And so no wonder I would be, having some feelings about being on video and being on camera. And then what if by some chance somebody were to see that, from the past and bring that to the forefront, and how painful that could be. But in your willingness just to own that, even on this conversation, now you get to own it as an adult, and you have power over it. So that if someone would say that, you could be like, yeah, that's what happened. But I didn't have a choice about that. I have a choice now. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm here to do. Because that's it with, I got that perfectly divine synchronicity in my TEDx talk, right? That I demonstrated that same process of this thing that literally had me by the throat for almost 20 years because I was ashamed and unwilling to speak about it. I finally spoke the whole truth wide and publicly. And now, again, it's not like it totally disappeared, but now I have it. I have ownership over it. So in you taking that and then imagining at the end of this, now your online program, you've created this different modules, these first little pieces. You've done it your best time. Do you think you'll be able to improve them?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
So they have the opportunity. You're gonna do a first draft. You're gonna give it your best. Then you're gonna evaluate and learn, but you're still gonna be able to contribute a lot of value to those people. They're gonna get a benefit from that work. And if you don't show up and do it, they won't get the benefit.
Wow.
And it's brilliant that you've pre-sold it already, so you are kind of on the hook for it. But if we look at from the opportunity side, again, like those people, it's not just about the money, like they really want the value of what you have to offer. So just giving it your best shot, they're going to get to receive so much value. And can you continue to refine it and make it better and improve it if you want to? Sure.
May I add, do you mind if I add one more thing? I also would see you in one of the first modules when you're sharing why you do what you do. I would include that part as part of your story so that people know, just like Scott said, it's not just fluffy images of angels, but why you do it, and you've been on the other side, and that's why you're communicating. That's part of your story, and you're being honest. And I honestly think that it's going to be so not only valuable, but transformational and eye-opening for a lot of people, for everybody who is taking the program.
Thank you, Zana.
Well, yeah, that's great, suggestion, Jana. And it may be, that or something different, you get to choose what you'd want to share and how you'd want to share it, right? Yeah. How many specifics and details or not, but that might be really powerful inside of your program and in your introduction. And I know that'll be incredibly valuable for you, even for yourself to do that separately, whether you do it with yourself or with again, like a friend on another Zoom call like this.
Right.
I think that's fabulous. So let's check in, like on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being completely stopped, in that paralyzed by fear, and 10 being like you're just chomping at the bit, can't wait to do those videos, it's going to be great, joyous experience. Where were you at the beginning of the call, and where are you at now?
Well, the beginning of the call, I was at totally paralyzed and I wasn't going to make them. And now I'm not excited to make them, but I feel like making the first video, just talking about my experiences, will be very empowering, and I'll feel on the other side of that. Then I feel like I'll be like, okay, now I can make an attempt to make my first draft of the videos. And that feels really good in my being.
Awesome. So just because they got the Olympic coach statistic guy. So from the beginning, and I don't expect you to like say you went from 0 to 10, right?
Right.
That would almost seem a little bit staged, right? But just for all of our reference, but yours too, like where would you say you started out and where do you feel like you're at now?
I started out at 0, definitely. And now maybe I'm a 6.
Awesome. That feels congruent. That feels true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I have another question.
I want to celebrate. That's a breakthrough, Heidi. Great work.
Yes.
And I totally hear you as being empowered and freed up to make that video for that, claiming that power, that healing for yourself, and then making the first recordings of your modules and getting going with that. You're not blocked and stopped.
Yes.
And then it's going to be a progression. But once you start, then you get to build momentum. But it's so hard to go from 0 to that first step. But once you get that first step, the next and the next and the next become easier. Yeah. And then you don't even realize you're walking and you're just going along, having a great time.
Awesome. That feels great.
Oh,
Thank
Jana,
you.
we can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. But Heidi's like freed up to be in action and to move forward now, which is awesome. We so celebrate that.
Well,
thank you so much.
I was gonna ask you when. Do you know when you're going to create that video, the first video?
Right now, after we stop our talk.
Hey, awesome. So.
Well, we should give Heidi a plug too. If people want to get your online program that you're creating, we'll have to put a link or something on how they could get that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. We would definitely. Well, first of all, they're going to hear from Heidi because she's going to be interviewed by me. She's going to be on the program as an expert too. So yeah, we'll hear all about Heidi, but if you would like to share your program and if you guys want to be a part of it, please, you can send us the link or it's going to be in the comments, right? Yes. And also, I just want to say thank you for being so vulnerable and being so raw on the show. And Scott said it several times. And for those of you guys who are watching, I'm sure, it rang the bell. Maybe somebody got a breakthrough because we all have something that we are holding on to, something that we are ashamed of sharing. And it's just trapped in the body, just like you said. But Scott I think you did an amazing job releasing a huge part of it, not completely, but a huge part of it. And thank you so much for being who you are. Your smile, Heidi, at the beginning, you were not smiling at all. Now you're kind of more open to that. And Scott, thank you for your brilliance and your wisdom. And you guys are watching Dream Big with Jana, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. If you got inspired today, I just want to remind you, please share this video on Facebook. You can also subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel. All the videos with the experts, including Scott's 3 videos, are going to be there. So just go to Jana Spitz. Also, what we want to remind you, if you would like to have a breakthrough and you would like to be personally coached by Scott, we're going to put the link to his calendar for the breakthrough session, which is a gift from him for the first, how many people?
5 people.
For the first 5 people. So please take advantage of that. And Heidi, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for who you are. And it was, I had my own breakthrough. I know what my next speech is going to be about. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Awesome.